So one day after a ToonSchool session on color theory, I was all hyped up on color. The thought came to me, what if I combined all the color harmonies onto one color wheel? Would I find something interesting, maybe some sort of a pattern? So I did, and I have. And today I'm going to share with you what the result was of that experiment. My name is Vernon. Welcome to ToonSchool. Firstly, let's circle a little bit wider. Color theory, in layman's terms, is the art and science of using colors. It's about not using all 72 colors in the pencil box just because they're there, but choosing and using colors deliberately for maximum effect. What we're addressing today is the tip of a monumental color theory Titanic-sized iceberg, which we're not going to be getting into today. We're focusing on color harmonies. Color harmonies or color schemes are color combinations that use a formula or a recipe on the color wheel to select colors that match and contrast well together. So let's dive right in. This is the color wheel, or in this case, the color star in its most basic form. There's a lot of different versions of the color wheel. There's a lot of advanced versions of the color wheel. Choose a wheel that serves your creative purpose. So starting off with the primary colors as we know and love them, red, yellow, and blue, also known as hues. If you mix these primaries together, you get your secondary colors, orange, green, and purple. And if you mix your primaries and secondaries together, you get your tertiary colors, with names varying from the obvious to more fancy names. Now imagine you're working on an artwork or a commission that has a color that you have to use, like maybe some corporate color. This is known as the key color, the color that cannot be changed. I once worked on an art piece that involved the fable of the little red hen, in which the key color was obviously red. This is the color that we're going to be using today as well. So now we turn to our color wheel and we use color harmonies to determine which colors would work best with this key color. So let's kick off with the one color harmonies. Well, there is only one. Monochromatic colors. This is a color harmony that consists of a combination of all the tints, tones, and shades of a single color, where a tint is your color mixed with white, a shade is the color mixed with black, and a tone is a color mixed with gray, so black and white, giving you a more desaturated version of the color. This is a very uncomplicated and simple color harmony that can be very successful if you think in terms of graphic design logos, where you have a light blue and a dark blue, or a dark green and a light green. This is also true testament that you don't need a lot of colors in order for an artwork to be successful. Moving over to our two color harmonies, and we're starting with the most well-known color harmony, the complementary colors, which refer to two colors directly opposite one another on the color wheel. This is a very common, very basic color harmony, can be very visually pleasing, and it's got a high degree of contrast because you're using two colors that has the same strength and vibrancy, both fighting for equal attention. In this case, your red pairs up with green, which is your Christmas colors, which is used all over the world every festive season. Next up, you have the Diadic colors, two colors on the color wheel separated by one color. So in this case, you have red pairing up with orange, or red pairing up with purple. I was supposed to separate that. I'm not doing it now. It's a very simple, very effective color scheme. And to quote Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. Next up, you have dichromatic colors. These are two colors opposite one another on the color wheel, but not following a formula. Now, full disclosure, I don't know if this is a thing. I only came across it once. I went back to double check, and then I found that dichromatic has something to do with color blindness. But let's pretend it is. In this case, your red would pair up with lime green, or if you tilt it the other way, the red would pair up with teal. I'm also thinking in terms of, color combinations that's not really a thing. Maybe Hulk, the green skin with the purple pants in the comic books, and also Marvel's X-Men, the original comic suits where blue was used with yellow. Now, there's one color group that I didn't include in today's exercise known as the achromatic colors. These are your neutrals known as pure achromatics, black, white, and all your grays, and your near neutrals, your browns, your tans, and your pastels. When you choose a color harmony like this, that doesn't mean you're limited to only those two colors. You can combine them with all the achromatic colors. The achromatics are also very handy in cases where you're sitting with a very vibrant color scheme and you just need to dial down on the crazy. Right, moving over to color harmonies that consist of 3 colors. We're starting off with split complementaries. This is a variation of your complementary colors, but instead of choosing the color right opposite your key color, you choose the 2 colors on either side of your key color. So in this case, you have red pairing up with chartreuse and aqua. This color combination offers the same vibrancy as your complementary colors, but it offers more variation and it's easier to balance and has less tension. It also always looks good. This is a very successful color harmony. It's near impossible to mess up. And this is the color harmony that I used or eventually used for the Little Red Hen project. Next up, you have your analogous colors. These are 3 colors, 3 to 5 colors directly next to each other on the color wheel. I love this color harmony. It makes for a very serene, very harmonious color scheme, which makes sense because you have colors that's sort of the same. And apparently it was very big amongst the Impressionist artists. But then another variation of the analogous colors are your split-analogous colors. These are 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel, but separated by 1 color. So in this case, you have red, orange, and purple. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that as well. Then the final one for the 3 colors are your triadic colors. These are 3 colors on the color wheel that are evenly spaced, forming a triangle when connected. If you want to get technical, I can say that it has the same number of colors between them, or if you want to get mathematical, it's 120 degrees each time. This makes for a very vibrant color scheme, and it's always advisable if you use it to use 1 color as the dominant color and the other 2 colors as accent colors. Dominant color is the color that's used the most. This is also, in this case, you have red, yellow, and blue, which is your Superman colors. And I cannot figure out whether blue or red were the dominant colors in the Superman suit, but the yellow was definitely the accent color. Any day where I get to use Superman as an example in ToonSchool is always a good day. And finally, we get to the color harmonies that consist of 4 colors each. Starting off with the double complementary colors, which is what happens when you take 2 colors directly next to each other on the color wheel and you pair them with their complementary colors on the other side, forming an X when connected. You can't really see the X because the second pink line is behind the black line. Also, to give you more variation, this can be flipped. This harmony can be flipped to the other side as well. Then you have your tetradic colors. This is exactly the same thing, but except for the 2 colors are not adjacent. So the X widens a little bit. There are 2 variations of the tetradic colors. You have your square tetradics, where the colors are evenly spaced around the color wheel, forming a square when you connect them. And then you have your rectangular tetradics, where your 2 pairs of non-adjacent complementary colors form a rectangle on the color wheel when connected. This harmony can also be flipped to the other side if you are not entirely satisfied with the end result. So it goes without saying, or it should, that your 4-color harmonies are the richest and most vibrant of all the color schemes, because they all use 4 colors in complementary pairs. So immediately you have double the contrast, double the vibrancy, double the strength. So it's like colors supersize. So here it's also advisable to use your colors with discernment, to maybe use 1 or 2 as dominant colors, the others as accent colors, or to just absolutely bombard them with your achromatics. So what was my takeaway from this? I want to call it an exercise, but honestly it was more like a game. Well, the proof is in the stippled lines. They indicate the colors that rose to the top, that featured more, and is clearly the strongest color choices. In this case, you have your complementary colors, no surprise there, red and green. Then your split comps, red, teal, and lime green. And then also your split-analogous, red, purple, and orange. So I can also offer a couple of tips, if I may. If you're ever in a creative conundrum, you need to match up colors quickly. There's no time to Google. There's no Wi-Fi, heaven forbid. Or you don't have the means to go through all the color harmonies. As a shortcut, use the cross to establish your strongest colors. The Jesus cross, not the noughts and crosses cross. In this case, it will give you your red, your green, purple, and orange, which is such a 1980s palette, I cannot even. And establishing your split comps are easy once you've established your complementary color. Second tip would be, make sure you have a color wheel on your phone. I cannot stress this enough for any creative working with colors. You never know when a creative color conundrum is going to surface and you need that wheel. That brings us to the end of today's video. Until I see you again, go out, be great, live creatively in every possible direction, and may the creative force be with you.